Okay. We are live again. Um, Good morning or good evening. Let's see. Yes. Um, this is just going to be one of those informal talks. And let's see if people can discover this live stream. I've had a few problems with that lately. But it seems like I think that it is working. Okay. Hmm, let's adjust this a little bit better so that I can see the thing here. Yes. Okay. First things first, I am still waiting for the new internet modem connection thing. It should be here maybe today or tomorrow, but that should help with the connection. So fingers crossed that the internet connection here will be stable enough for now. Tech test, replicant 182, Austin, Victor, Jeff, impish little kentaur. Hello there. Yes, you are supposed to be poor now. Yeah. Angela, good to see you. Benny, well, thank you for saying that. Nikolai, tjena. Are you Swedish? Tjenare or tjena? Yes. I have the feeling that, I don't know this, but it seems like everything is rigged now so that you are supposed now to get poor. And what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that this is one of those, it's disgusting image, but the frog in the boiling water, and as it gets warmer, the frog stays there, and then it dies because it's gradually, you're getting poorer gradually, and you're getting used to it. But let me give you an example. And this is not only about prices, but I'll get to that. But I have a guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure is that I like chocolate. Believe it or not, I do. And sometimes I buy myself a bar of chocolate. And it's not very small, but it's not like obscenely big. Yeah, no jokes. um, but the price, I don't know what it used to cost, but now it's like in dollars, that would be $5. $5 for a bar of chocolate, you know. And then it's like suddenly something that, yes, I know we don't need chocolate. We don't need chocolate. I get it, but it's just an example. And suddenly it's become something that you can't really buy it because it just adds up. And why is it that chocolate is now, that bar of chocolate is now, it must be double the price of what it used to be. And this is just one example. And as I said, we don't need chocolate, but we need food, and we need a way of heating, keeping ourselves warm, like electric heating, or in other countries, gas heating, and so on. And yes, also shrinkflation, because that bar of chocolate, impish little Kentar, good. Thank you for saying that, because then I noticed that right next to that bar of chocolate, they were selling chocolate bars half the size. And I think the price of that chocolate bar that's half the size of the normal one, that price is what the normal one used to cost. And okay, yeah, most people they would benefit from eating less chocolate, yes. But also, what something that people need, and some people will disagree, but I believe that red meat is healthy. It is healthy, and the price of red meat is it's like I've given up, and I don't care anymore, and I just get the red meat and I pay, but it's insanely expensive. It's just it's laughable. And now that we are talking about food, the food that I don't eat is cheap because I don't eat that ultra processed crap. I don't. I refuse. I don't even call it food. The only exception is, uh, bread. Bread, I consider bread, most of the bread that you buy in the stores, it's ultra processed food in my opinion. But so I eat that. But apart from that, no. But that I have noticed is cheap. That's what people tend to buy. That's why they are unhealthy. But anyway, so everything's getting more expensive, but also it's getting more and more difficult to make money. Now, in my, I'll use my, I'll use myself as an example. Again, I'll try not to complain too much, but yeah, the chocolate coffee. Have you noticed? I don't really drink chocolate coffee out in the woods anymore. You know why? Because it's too expensive. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I have two jobs basically. YouTube is sort of a job, and if you have noticed, I have produced more content lately, and the total of views that I'm getting is quite high across my channels. But I'm making much less money, much less money on YouTube. That's why you're probably going to see sponsored content in my videos. Not here, but on my main channel. And I don't think it's possible to keep going without that. But also, my main job is writing books. I'm a novelist. I've been doing that, and now it's. Are you ready for a rant? This will be a bit of a rant. So, I started writing when I was 19 with the aim of publication. Uh, and I'll be honest with you, I have some health issues now, and it's probably because I've been working too much for many years. So it's been 33, 34 years now, and I'm tired. And a lot of people can relate to this, I guess. And what do I get? What's my reward? AI. AI generated books, creating sort of an inflation in the market here. So there will be people saying, oh, AI is just a tool. Okay, so is the nuclear bomb. But what happens is that a lot of writers, they use AI to write their books, and then they edit it, and they can write many more books in a year than they usually it will take 2 or 3 years to write a book. And people think that they will recognize it. They don't. Those books are already out there. Um, and the publishing houses, it seems like they want this. I refuse to do that because that's not why I started writing. The creative process, the magic, that's why I'm writing. I'm not writing just to produce some crap that people will probably read because it's fashionable. Um, and these crooks that run the tech companies, they steal my books. Yes, I saw the comment there. They steal my books and other books as well. They Meta, the AI, they just stole books to feed it into their AI learning thing. And, so basically, so this is my reward. Okay. I make much less money on books now because of AI, and because also because of the fact that younger people now are almost not reading books at all. So, yeah, it's very sad. So anyway, I'm making less money on my books now, even though I have books in like 10 languages. Um, but yeah, so making less money and then having to spend more money just to be part of society, so to speak, and to have food on the table. It's infuriating. And I think that this is, these politicians, they say that, oh, we are trying to deal with this, we're trying to keep inflation down, and they will lie to you and say that, oh, the prices have gone down and the inflation is lower and all of that. They're lying. And I think if they're not directly part of this, they at least they don't have the power to change it. I think this is the plan, and they have said it too. You remember they said some time ago, you will own nothing and you will be happy. The happy thing, I don't know so much if that's correct. I don't think you will be happy. I'm not certainly not happy about this, but I mean, now I'm lucky because I'm my generation. We were able to buy a house in Norway at least, uh, and have I found it very very rewarding and important to be able to help my kids so that they can get into the property market. Because if I hadn't, then it would have been impossible for them. And that's the situation for most young people. They will forever be renting. It's infuriating. It makes me so mad. And the plan is that you're supposed to be poor. You're supposed to be renting. You're supposed to be a consumer. And we could even add to this war. Because if you look back in history, what tends to happen when societies get into this sort of trouble is that, well, they start a war, or a war starts. And then, of course, the demand for certain stuff goes up, and so on and so on. So it's like it's infuriating. It's You're supposed to be poor. And there are many videos on YouTube. And by the way, check out my cup. Since I've become fat now, I have this cup. It says in Norwegian, "Real men weighs more than 100 kilos." So now that I weigh more than 100 kilos, I can use that cup again. It's funny. Yeah, I'm fattening up for the competition. in the minus 105 kilos class in a few weeks. Um, where was I? Uh, yeah. So okay. So here's the part where I lose some subscribers and I guess get some dislikes. I don't care, but there are people out there who actually think that, oh, we will vote for Trump. Trump will fix this. No, he won't. Um, and we see that would be a right-leaning populist movement in Europe. Of course, the populism, you can see that, there is also a left-leaning populist movement. But, the right-leaning populist movement is quite noticeable here in Europe. And there are people who actually think that they will fix this. They will fix the economy. It will go back to how it used to be. No, it won't. This is much bigger, and I don't think that. No, I don't think so. Yes, okay. What's the definition of poor? Well, my definition of poor is not that you have no clothes on your body and you are starving to death. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to define it. But I'll just repeat what I wrote in the title. You're supposed to be poor now. Yeah, Rumble. Yeah, Rumble is funny. What a disgusting platform. Yeah, have I made in the years I've had my videos, I posted my videos on Rumble. Have I made $20 now? Maybe 20, maybe 30, getting close to 30 now. Yeah. Um, um, so, okay, I got sick. I got ill before Christmas. It's not easy to get to fix that, but I'm doing what I can. And my plan is a full recovery. But I don't want to get into details on that. But it just adds up, and when you get to a certain age, things start to. It's a neurological issue, Patricia. So no, it's not related to powerlifting. It's a neurological issue that I've had for years. So, Jin, lively. Are you a woman? Yeah, you're gone. Your comment is gone. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, so in case you wonder why I'm not sitting here facing studio light, that's part of my problem, the neurological issue. So I can't do that, you see, because I just can't. That's why it's dark here. I hope you can forgive me for that. But anyway, when that happens, and it happens to many people my age, you realize that you really can't work more. These things tend to happen because you worked very hard your whole life, and now you realize that you can't work more. Actually, you have to work less. Okay, you have to work less. You have to change your lifestyle. I do that now. I'm doing my best. Doing some changes, but it's expensive, you know. And I'm going to make less money because of that. So I think that it's such a cruel thing that this happens now. It's so cruel because a lot of older people and middle-aged people like myself have some health issues that make them unable to work and work and work. And then this happens, and that's your reward for working all your life. No, you didn't get to save up money. No, you didn't get to. Well, I fortunately did get to save up some money, but most people they never got to save up any money. Now they are older, they can't work much, and everything gets more expensive. Then what do you do? You know, what do you do? And I saw a video, a very profound video. I can't remember who made it now, but this is even worse in the USA because of the work culture in the USA. So I think people in the USA they get 2 weeks of 2 weeks of vacation per year, and they're now saying that work when you work in the USA, normally the pay is so low that you have to have two works, not two, no, two, you have to have two jobs and you have to work overtime. And then just to pay the bills and to pay the rent. Um, and that video creator said that we're getting close now in the USA to a situation where not even two jobs will be enough. Then what do you do when there isn't enough hours in a day for you to work and pay the bills? Then what do you do? People, my friends, it is time to get out of the matrix. It's it's time that we take back control. How do we do that? Well, there is no way around it. We have to create, at least for yourself, some kind of providing food and shelter outside of the monetary system. And it's like it's right there in front of us. We can do it. I believe we can do it. For instance, I have a tent. I have I have many tents. One of the things, being an outdoors YouTuber, one of the things that happen is that these companies they send you some stuff, and one of the tents it was sent from Hong Kong, which was a bit of a surprise because it was, well, that's probably where it was made, but But anyway, I didn't think that it was a Chinese company. But anyway, I have the tent here, and it's a umbrella tent. But anyway, it's a great tent. It's basically a double wall insulated floor tent, wood burning stove inside. I could live there all year round, and I mean, why not? Um, yeah, well, Timothy, audiobooks, yes. The problem with audiobooks if is that people, well, it's they get stolen. So if I make audiobooks, it will take a few hours and then they will be stolen and people will start selling them from other websites. Okay, we are back. We are back. We are back. Yeah, I will get a new internet thing in the post, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. That will hopefully help a lot. Yeah, so I mean, and I don't know how to put this, but okay, so this system, if we can manage to see this system, and this system is okay, you work yourself to death, you never get to save up any money. Everything gets more expensive. You're being monitored, surveilled all of the time. That's the system, basically. And it's going to get worse. When these politicians are saying that they're going to reduce inflation, no, they're not. And I'm starting to think that there's a plan behind all the crazy things being done in the USA now, because it will drive up inflation. People said that, economists that don't have any, it's not an ideological thing to say. It's just textbook how to do all the wrong things concerning inflation. That's what's being done in the USA now. I'm starting to think that they want that. I don't know, but what is it here that I don't understand? Because as an economist, which I studied in university, that's how you drive up inflation. That's how you increase inflation. But anyway, is that the plan? And yeah. So anyway, I restart my router all the time. It's old. It's too old. Yes, so that's the router. Good example. So I have to buy a new router. Um, another thing I have to buy. So yeah. Well. I'm not in the USA, so I'm not going to discuss that. It's just, yeah. Let's hope I'm wrong on that. Okay. This is not really about Trump. I get that a lot of people are very sensitive about that, but I must be allowed to say that what I said without people getting all defensive. Okay. Anyway. So, here's a question. What would be hardest? Working very little and living in a level, winter style tent with a wood burning stove, and not be poor, or working yourself to death just so that you can barely manage to pay your bills, and you get to live in an apartment or a house. What would be most difficult? What would be most difficult? I'm starting to think, like I see you also think, that the first option, living in a tent, is actually the least difficult option. Um, yeah, live on little, as Muriel says, live on little and be free. Yeah. Um, yeah, Knight Percival says, in the first option, you don't get electricity and running water, though. We are so used to them now. Electricity you can have. A solar panel or two will be enough, excuse me, for your electronics. Um, and if there's a stream nearby, that's running water. If you live by the sea, you can go and take a bath in the sea and wash yourself in the sea or the stream or lake, something like that. I get it. Not everyone can do that, because the woods would be full of people and human waste and so on. But the thing is, very few people will do that. Very few people will do that. And it's not so crazy, actually, because there are cultures who have been living in tents. That's how they lived. If you're in the USA, your ancestors came to a country with cultures that they were nomadic and they lived in tents. The Sami people in Norway used to live in tents. Lavos, so it's not impossible. People have been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years. Have I lived in a tent? No, I haven't lived in a tent. um, so I don't know, but I know that this thing here, I don't like it anymore. I really don't like it. I'm tired, demotivated. And I'm not demotivated because of my work, because I love my work. But I'm demotivated, and I'm sure you can relate to this. I'm demotivated because, let's say you make some extra money, right? I get a contract. Oh, I have the perfect example. So, uh, my books will be published in Spanish very soon. And that's great. It's, I'm very happy about that. And I sign the contract and so on. And I get some money for that, of course. And then just yesterday, I was walking up the stairs to what do you call it? You had ground floor and first floor. So I walked up the stairs in my house. And I looked up. Oh, there's a leak in the roof. There's a leak in the roof. So money in, money out. And because it is laughable how expensive it is to have someone to come here and fix the leak in the roof. Yes, I have insurance and so on. I think. I don't know. I hope. Yeah, it's just an example. Okay. So money in, money out. And I'm sitting here now looking at the screen that cost a fortune. It doesn't have to cost a fortune, but I invested in good equipment for YouTube, and that cost a fortune. Yeah. So also, it's like all this stuff. I'm just tired of all the stuff because it breaks, and then you have the stress. and then you have the, you know, all of that. Um, and I plan to do a longer hike very soon, um, just to experience that lifestyle. I was going to do it sooner, but then I got sick, so um, I think it can be doing a longer hike, having that lifestyle can be very. It can kind of reveal what you want in life, and I think that the simplicity is what we need. You know. Um, yeah. Okay. Let me respond to the chat here. um, uh, let's see. Galadriel says things you own end up owning you. Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Muriel says, Muriel, is that how do you pronounce it? Says, simplicity is beauty. Yes. Um, oh, yeah. DPFX 99999, 15 minutes cities. Yeah, it is funny how they called it 15-minute cities, and people imagined that it would be some kind of prison, and it is. But and then I was called, because I talked about that. Probably going to do it again because now they are here, and people said, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist." Well, of course they say that, but it's like those people, can't they see that those 15-minute cities, they're already here, and they don't even have to call them 15-minute cities. They do, by the way, but and you can find the program which cities have signed up to all of that, and you would be surprised. You might find that your city is a 15-minute city already. Um, Basically, it's about restricting your freedom, and people are different. Some people need freedom. I need freedom. And my guess is that you need freedom as well. It's important to you. Not all people are like that. And we are seeing now how they are restricting your mobility. And I think this is much more prevalent in Europe. Uh, it's like, so my daughter lives in Oslo, um, and I want to be useful. I like to be useful. I miss being a dad. Like, well, I'm still a dad, but I miss being when my kids were younger, and you were needed all the time. I miss that, so I will drive there. I will sometimes drive there to pick her up when she comes home to visit. I will drive to Oslo and pick her up there sometimes because I like to be useful. And also there are meetings in Oslo, but the meetings in Oslo, I just say no, we don't do that anymore. We'll do it online because the cost is insane. You have to drive there. You have to pay the gas, which is expensive. You have to pay I don't know how many of these toll booths. Basically, just cameras. They take a photo of your license plate as you drive by, and then you get the bill, right? and that's the same thing back. And you have to pay a fortune to park your car there if you can find a spot to park your car at all. So you end up with how much will it cost me to just go to Oslo? That's the capital of Norway, by the way. $100, something like that, just to drive into Oslo, park my car, have a meeting, go back. $100. That's my guess. Um, so that's the insanity. That's the insanity. I could take the train, but that's insanely expensive as well. So I end up not doing it. And the only reason I go to Oslo is to pick up my daughter, because you know what? I think it's worth the money. And also, even more important, I don't want those fucking bastards to prevent me from doing that. So, yeah, all of us conspiracy theorists, we were right again about the 15-minute cities. And I mentioned this, I think, yesterday with the electric cars. So they got everyone here in Norway, at least, to buy electric cars. You can still, I have to say this because of the fake news that spread. It's not illegal to drive a fossil fuel car here. That's fake news. So I have a fossil fuel car. But anyway, most people now, they're buying electric cars. And they thought that, it will be cheaper because of the tax, the lower tax and so on. Oh, but they're taking that away now because they don't want you to drive a car at all. They don't want you to drive an electric car either. Who could have seen that coming? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Magical Audio says, imagine our shock. Yeah. So what do they, and let's follow that uh, train of thought. Why train? Line of thought. It's about trains, what I'm going to say now. So what do they do when it's people can't afford to drive their cars? Then what do they do? Do they make it cheaper and easier to use public transport? No, they make it much more expensive to use public transport. And why would they not? Because now people are forced to use public transport. So let's increase the prices. Use your feet. Yeah, maybe I'll walk to Oslo next time. That would take me 4 days, 3 or 4 days. Yeah. Yes. Electric bike. I have an electric bike actually, and I really like it, but not so much when it's snowing and so on, like now. Yeah. So basically, you're not supposed to have freedom. You're not supposed to be able to build up wealth. You're not supposed to own anything. And my question is then, what does that look like? Because there's nothing new about this. It has a name, actually. Yeah, it's feudalism. This is feudalism 2.0, as I've said. No, not communism, really. That's not what the word I'm looking for. It's feudalism. It's the feudal system that we are seeing here. And Patricia, exactly, serfs. That's what they want us to be. A serf is someone who has very limited mobility, who doesn't own anything, and who has to work a lot, right? Um, what long trail are you going to do? Well, I don't know yet. I don't know. Mike is asking, are the electric vehicle charging stations in Norway convenient to use? I don't know. I don't use them, so I don't know. Yeah, interesting and good pointer, DPFX99999, about division. I mean, what we are talking about here is probably, can I say, the most important thing happening right now. This shift where they are killing the middle class. And yeah, what we just talked about here, what we're talking about here, it's it's important. But it's not really something that you will see people talk about a lot in social media. Oh, thank you so much, Captain Hook. Thank you for your donation. Yes, this is serfdom, as they say. Where was I? Yeah, so what do people spend time arguing about and talking about in social media? And what do we see in the news and so on? Well, some examples, and I think the best example is the culture war. And you have the crazy woke people with 57 genders and all of that. And you have the Christian nationalists on the other side, at least in the USA. And you have all of that. And none of that is actually important. And they argue about, I mean, the best example is like the obsession with who is using which bathroom. And they call it the bathroom in the USA, I think. And I'm like, stop talking about that. That's not what is important right now. You know, what is important is that we are actually seeing a shift from what used to be, you know, an ability to build up wealth and to have freedom and mobility and so on, into basically feudalism. That's what we should focus on. And that's what should make people very angry. So, in my opinion, at least. Hotep says right now they are unaliving the middle class. I can't read the whole comment there, but yeah. Baron Arcanus, you'll have to scroll back a little bit, I think. And there's quite a lot of nihilism as well, and this attitude that, oh, we can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do, and all of that. Well, of course, there's nothing you can do if you just sit there alone and You don't connect with people about this. You don't really. I guess you can do something alone if you just make that choice. Okay, I'm going to live in a tent now. This year here, like I'll take 1 year and I'll work much less. Fuck those people, excuse my French, and I'll live in a tent and I'll just save up all the money. I'll buy food. That's all. Um, Food and gas for my car. Uh, the internet connection subscription thing. So that's all. The rest of the money, which won't be much, but at least a little bit, I'll save it. You know. So that's what you can do. If we imagine this. What if people got together and they, let's say, they buy some land and they say that, okay, we'll split up this land into sections, so each person owns his or her own section, and you can have your tent there, and you work together on some kind of sanitary system for waste and things like that, and then you can live there in a lavvo, you know. It would be very possible to do that, you know. It and it's so strange. People would call that, oh, that's very special, that's very alternative. And how come that's alternative? How I don't get it. Well, it would be alternative if you had lots of crazy people there sitting around the campfire talking about how the earth is flat and the lizard people and all of that. But no, it's not. It's it's very sensible. It's very sensible to do that, you know. Yes, or a yurt. Yes, you can have a yurt, of course. But I have several lavvos actually. You could do that. It would be very possible. Yeah, it would, Alex. Yeah, we need to bring the tribes back. You could save money because this is actually about looking at the society as an option and not the only option, right? So let's look at it this way. You come into a room and you have some offers there. So you have some people sitting there by a table, and they have some offers for you, right? And one offer is you can buy a piece of land. It won't be very expensive because we all, yeah, as I just explained, and you can have your tent there, or maybe something like that. What I just explained. The other option is pretty much the matrix, the system, the being part of the grid. So you will work yourself to death or ill health. You won't be rich ever. That's just an illusion. And we'll just keep increasing prices and take money away from you, and you'll be very depressed and feel miserable. So that's one other option. Maybe there are other options as well, but this is what I'm trying to say. We need to start looking at the world, or as all of this, as options. Not so we have other options. So society and the culture is one option. It doesn't have to be the only option. Here's another option. Oh, if you're young, you can do this at any age. Long distance hiking. Okay, So you just quit your job and you just say screw them, and you just put your some stuff in a backpack and you go hiking, a long distance trail. Lots of people do that. You know, that's another option. It would give you some time off. People say that it's the best thing they've ever done. I get it. Not everyone can do that if you have obligations, kids and pets and so on. Viking Graphics says most of the greatest ideas were developed while walking. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just how I'm going to try to look at things from now on. I will add to this that yes, you can just be on your own, and let's say you want to live in a tent, right? Or in something that I have wanted to do for a long time, to live in those boats, not long boats, canal boats in the UK. Yeah. People do that. No, yeah, it is a houseboat, but what's it called? Those boats, narrow boats. Yes, Viking Graphics. Yes, narrow boats. Yes, very cool. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so there are lots of options, and you can do it alone. Of course, you can. But I'm saying this as someone who made the mistake of being alone far too much. I was one of those people who thought that, I don't need anyone. I can be alone. I don't need anyone. But you do need people. You absolutely need people. I made a video about that yesterday on the main channel, actually. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't. Baron Arconus, the narrow boats, is that what you're referring to? Cost more than living in an apartment? I don't know. I don't know so much about it. Just looks awesome. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Yeah, that's the video. You liked the video? Thank you. Needing people. It's. Have you seen those videos? I kind of assumed that people have seen the videos and they will have the title, "I'm 62" or "I'm 60" or 50. I avoid people now. This is why, and it will be a man walking and talking to the camera. So I thought I would do that as well, but I would give it a twist and say that I try not to avoid people, because especially if we're talking about building sort of a community outside of the grid, I think you need people. So yes, Patricia, even the loners need people. And here's another thing. I'll just. Here's another thing I have noticed or thought about. if you're an introvert, no. Okay, I'll put it this way. I think a lot of people who say that they are, or think that they are introverts, are not really introverts. I think that they are just tired of all the noise and all the stuff going on in the city where they are living. I think that most people are not introverts. I think that most people would be very happy in a sort of tribe, village, small community. That's what I think. So I think that when you feel that you're an introvert, you're really just, in most cases, reacting to the fact that in an urban environment you have to deal with people you don't know and people that you've never met before, you know and that is not natural. It's it's something that we as human beings, we're not built to deal with that. So yeah, that's what I think. uh, let's see here. Yeah, Godio says people are tired. um, yeah. um, yeah, I think again, that this modern society, these 15-minute cities, even though even if it's not called that, but this idea that we're supposed to be uh, concentrated into, the word concentrated into almost urban camps. So you can put those two words together and see what you get. Um, but it's scary, and it's going to make, and it is making people mentally sick, because it's not natural, and it's making people stressed out. um, I think that it's going to lead to a lot of mental illness, and I'm pretty sure they haven't taken that into account. And I'm pretty sure that if they have, they don't care. Because if you get a lot of people in those urban areas who get mentally ill because of that environment, well, more money to be made for big pharma, right? Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, high density habitat zones. Yes. Um, Kim says, I spent most of my life in a small village and loved it. You knew everyone. Now I live in a city and hate it. Everyone is a stranger. It became even worse after I lost my husband. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. Um, And I think I'm going to say something that's very obvious here. Why do people move to the cities? Because that's where the jobs are. So it's a trap. And isn't it crazy when we think about it? So you move to an environment, the city, which is unhealthy. It's to most people, it will be unhealthy for your mental health. You move there to work yourself to death. The rent will be high. The cost of living generally will be higher in the city. Yet you move there to work, and you have to work even more because you live there in the city. So doesn't that make it an even worse deal or an even worse offer? Let's use the word offer, because we don't have to sign that deal. We can choose the alternative. Now, I believe that we should work a maximum of 4 hours, 5 days a week. So 20 hours per week. I think that's the maximum. Nobody should work more than that. Well, if you really, really want to, of course you can, but I think that should be the normal. 2 hours, no, 4 hours, 5 days a week. Or, maybe you would work 8 hours Monday and Tuesday, and well, you concentrate it a little bit more, but that's what I think. 20 hours per week. I don't have the numbers. I don't know if that will add up, but it should be enough for you to pay your bills, to have a house, and to have a good life. Imagine all the good things that would happen if we worked only 20-hour weeks. I work 20-hour weeks now. And I wish I had started doing that sooner, but because I'm a fool, I didn't. I should have. But at least I'm doing it now. What I can tell you is that you kind of find yourself not knowing what to do. And I'm in that phase now where I'm not used to it, So I have lots of hours during the days, and I don't know what to do. And I force myself not to make more videos. Because that's basically work. But I think that's the healthy way to do it, And if we all did that, society, the culture would look different. Imagine how much better people's mental health would be if they could spend this woman, this troll, she's, you have unwashed hair. No, this is here I have some lotion, heating lotion for my neck, and I think I touched my hair here, so that's why it looks like that. Yeah, but anyway, imagine if we worked only 20-hour weeks. Imagine when you have small kids, you can spend more time with your kids. Imagine the change in mental health and general well-being in our culture. Justice 104 win says, I heard the head of Google wants a 60-hour week. Really? What a monster. No, I think you should work 20-hour weeks. You should then be passionate about your hobbies. So, for instance, let's say that you take up woodworking. Maybe you want to make bows or wooden cups. Maybe you just want to really, really devote yourself to your favorite sport. Maybe you want to spend more time out on your boat. Maybe you want to, you know, just build an awesome vegetable garden. All of these things are positive things, and we should do more of that. And Baron Arcanus, that is great about your book. I am, but I'm sorry, I can't take on assignments like that much because of what I'm talking about now. And just imagine what it would look like. Now, people are saying, of course, that, well, we will have a society where AI and robots will do the work, and we will have much more freedom, and we will have universal basic income and all of that. No, I don't think that will happen. That's not how it works. Yeah. Oh, KP Hidden, that's rough. Also, I'm kind of sorry you lost your job. Well, I'm sorry you lost your job, but I'm not sorry that you. Well, how should I formulate my words here? That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Work 8 hours, then drive back. That's a lot. But I'm sorry you lost your job, of course. But nobody should work that much. 60-hour weeks. I have worked 60-hour weeks. I have done that. And I think it's for a time, it's for a period of time, it can be great, if you feel that you're on you're rewarded for that, then it's great. But it will make you sick in the end. Green-eyed lady says universal basic income is inflationary. Exactly, and I think that's why it will be a very, very low income if they introduce that. Ian says, I done 60 plus hours in my 20s, but got sod all from it. Yeah. No, I think we need to refuse, we need to protest, and we need to call these people out. And a few days ago, I was watching these Norwegian politicians, and they are talking about we need to work more. And those feckers, I'll use the Irish version there, they don't work that much. They have like a crazy long summer holiday and all of that. And they get to sit in a room and have papers put in front of them, No, it's we need to refuse. We need to refuse work more. No, we're not supposed to work more. 4 hours per day is enough. That's how it should be. Kingdoms and Kobolds says, supposedly AI-controlled robotics will be able to make products so cheap it will bring about a new era of abundance. If you believe that BS, I've got a bridge to nowhere to sell you. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the strangest place. Thank you so much for your donation. Yes, my name means bear. Okay, thank you. Hotep says you work 50, 60 hours a week during your incel years, like what I'm going through right now. At least it'll be something to put into some cash flow vehicle. Okay. Yes, Baron Arcana says, new era of abundance. How about permaculture, food forests, and free energy science? Yeah, wouldn't that be better? Exactly. Hotep says, electricity was supposed to be free, but I don't know whatever happened to that. Yeah. No such thing as free energy. Someone always pays in the end. Well, yes, but I could get free energy from the sun. I could get free energy from the stream nearby, but I do have to buy the equipment to harness that energy, of course. But when you do that, let's say, okay, you buy some solar panels and some batteries. After that, the energy is free because that's the sun. Yeah. But of course, if we had free energy, you think that, or let's envision this scenario. So someone comes up with a way to make free energy, and he has a patent. What do you think the energy companies, I was going to say oil companies, but of course now we have the wind farm companies and all of that. Is, basically they are sucking the taxpayers' money out of the state. So those companies, what would they do? If I had a patent for free energy, I would feel exposed, and I would look over my back, my shoulder constantly. Yeah, or if you have a patent for free energy, you might end up committing suicide by being shot in the back, something like that. But okay, so lots of people live off grid. It's not difficult. So I mean, we talked about living in a tent, which is not difficult. So I got for free because I'm an outdoors YouTuber. I got this umbrella technology strange tent. It's great, and I haven't slept in it yet. But my son and his girlfriend tried it out, and it works. It's great, and it's like a little hut and double walls. You have a wood burning stove inside, and it's great, and you can live there. You could live there. Wouldn't be difficult. I could make videos there, edit videos. I could do live streams there with a solar panel, you know, a little table for my laptop computer. It would not be difficult. Um, if I had some land with a fence around it, my dogs would love it. So why not do it? Why not do it? Um, it's it's not difficult to be off grid, and water, yes, okay. Here's how I would do it. I would I'm I would buy drinking water, and I would take a shower at the gym where I work out. And what more do you need? You know, I would save so much money on that. Yeah, and it's, if you can find a piece of land where you can put your tent, you can do that. You know. Bipedal Ape Man says, do a 30-day tent challenge on YouTube. Good idea. I will absolutely consider it. Absolutely. Will you do the same? Would be interesting if there were more of us doing it. Eric Beagle says, that's what I did, what you just told me to do, and normally what you said happens when I start typing someone's name, the rest will pop up. It just doesn't do that. I'm not sure if I understand what you mean there. Yeah. I will absolutely consider it. The only thing here is that I don't know where I should put the tent. The easiest would be to put the tent on my own land, but of course then I'm close to my house. Would that be cheating? But I actually considered to sleep in my tent because I like that. So yeah. But okay. Let's see here. Another thing I want to add here is that I think that it's healthy to be close to trees and nature in general, the sounds of nature, and especially trees. We know that the trees, they they send out chemicals that are healthy for us, especially for our mental health. So it's healthier to live among trees than to live among concrete. It's the trees, the chemicals, they calm you, they make you feel calm, and yeah, so it's I don't know, these things I don't remember everything, so I I don't know. I can't remember what those chemicals are called, but they come from the trees actually. And yeah, they have measured that. It's not alternative, or it's an actual fact. Um, um, so, um, does anyone know what those chemicals that come from the trees are called? Uh, no, it's not dubious. You can measure it in the air actually. Uh, you know what? I can see if I can look it up here. Um, I can see. Hold on. Oh yeah, yeah. They are called phytoncides, organic compounds that reduces cortisol levels in humans. Uh, yeah, so phytoncides are probably yeah, they also use phytoncides to protect themselves from insects. Phytoncides have antibacterial and antifungal qualities. And it will lower your pulse rate, lower your blood pressure, will give you greater parasympathetic nerve activity and lower sympathetic nerve activity than in a city environment. And it increases the production of serotonin. Yeah, actually, the more you know, it's phytoncides, bipedal ape man, you already knew. Okay, yes. As I was looking it up, yes. So it's not only that we feel better in a woodland environment, it's we're actually receiving chemicals that make us feel better, that lower stress. Um, yeah. Uh, Kathy says, lived in a cabin for 3 months. Literally had to chop wood and carry water. Had a freshwater spring nearby. A little rough, but doable. Yeah. B. Hendricks says, almost like we were supposed to be there. Yes, exactly. Exactly. This all connects, it all connects. And when we take human beings out of that environment, of course we're going to suffer. So what do we do now? How do we live? It's almost the opposite of how we're supposed to live. So we are the result of evolution, obviously, and that's a very, very slow process. Even though me coming from the sport of powerlifting, I think that some of the guys there, they, as a friend of mine says, they look like they were just someone took a tree and shook the tree, and those guys fell down. But anyway, we are the result of evolution through millennia, right? And we are part of the system, the natural system. And it's such an intricate web, and we're supposed to be there. That's where we are the happiest. That's where we are supposed to be, and we are interconnected with everything there, with the trees, with the grass under our feet, with the animals, with everything. And we're supposed to live like that. We're supposed to be hunting, gathering, resting, in a small community. That's how it's always been. But now we have been removed from that. We are put in rooms with walls that separate us from those trees. We look at screens, as we do now, and we are told that we need to work all day to pay our bills, and we have much less contact with people than we used to have, even though we live in a city. I'm sure you've now I don't live in a city, but I'm sure you heard that people in cities often feel lonely. Ratatosk, good to have you here. And he says, here are 5 chemicals emitted by trees that benefit human health. Let's see if I can pin that comment. Yes. Alpha, pinene, beta pinene, limonene, comfene, terpenes. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, probably didn't. But yeah. So, also, Kim, we are supposed to be free. So that's, and Muriel says, then at 65, retire, sit, rot, bunkers, unnatural. Yes. Have you seen, when they go to the tribes in the Amazon jungle, and you see the old guys there? They will have a 6-pack and go hunting with the young guys very often. Guys in their 60s, and they don't go to the gym, they don't work out, but they are living a natural, healthy lifestyle, Kiran says, I live in the city in Alberta, Canada, and I feel lonely, houseless, and hopeless. Hopefully, as part of this community here, we can start to build hope, positivity, and some plans for a better future, So let's see. I just want to add this thing here where, in Norway, here in Norway, but also in other countries, when you hear politicians talking here about nature, there's been a change happening. It has changed, and now they talk about nature as if it's a battery. And by that I mean they never talk about nature having value just being nature, just being there. No, they talk about it as a resource, and now a resource for wind power farms. They want to chop down the trees. They want to have these wind giant wind generators. And they destroy Norwegian nature. And we have a great guy who is in a debate program on TV here, Fredrik Solvang, and he will, he's one of the very, very few journalists who will actually ask the difficult questions and to these people. And he said something along the lines of, and it was like a debate about wind power. And the Norwegian population, they do not want it. And he said, it's almost like people don't want it, because what you are doing here is that you're destroying Norwegian nature to erect these wind turbines so that you can produce electric power that you will sell to continental Europe. That's what they're doing. It's unforgivable. Yeah. And the funny thing is that, you know who they try, these politicians and those people, who they try to portray as harming the woods, harming nature? People who have wood burning stoves in their houses. And it's not difficult to have a sustainable forestry. It's not difficult. But of course, clear cutting is not sustainable. That's normally what they do. Yeah, Carola says they are deforesting in Germany to build windcraft sites. Yeah. Yes, DPFX99999 says that's why they don't like self-sustainability. Yeah. And it was like, I heard that was on the radio yesterday, and they are now talking about, we might have a war with Russia, and we need to be prepared, and so let's send all the kids to be killed at the front and all of that. And what are you going to do to prepare if the grid goes down, the electric grid goes down? You need to have food and medicine and all that. Okay, yeah, I agree. And then you need to have an alternative source of heating, they said. But you know what the alternative source of heating should be? They didn't even mention a wood-burning stove. No, extra clothes. So yeah, okay. I get it, because lots of people here now, they don't have a wood-burning stove, but they didn't even mention it. So the idea is that when it's 20 Celsius below freezing during winter here in Norway, and there is no electric heating anymore, well, you just put on some extra clothes. Yeah. Okay. So Now, I will finish this live stream by telling you a little story from Donald Duck. You know, Donald Duck, the Disney yeah, you know Donald Duck, right? Not Donald Trump, Donald Duck. So Donald Duck, he went with. So this is one of the old Carl Barks was his. I think his name was. Longer stories, right? So they went like this on this expedition up to some place in northwestern Canada, and they found a Viking helmet, and it was a magic helmet. So when you put the helmet on, you are now the emperor of North America. There's another Donald who I think would have wanted a helmet like that. But yeah, anyway, what happened was that the people in the team, like some of the archaeologists and so on, and they put the helmet on because they were tempted, and they all got crazy ideas on how they would rule North America, including taxation. You know, and I can't remember all the crazy ideas that they got, but eventually one of the guys there, he put the helmet on, and he was like he was the ultimate tyrannical. He became the ultimate tyrannical emperor of North America, right? And he wouldn't tax anything, no taxes, except one thing. Everyone would now have to have a measuring device on their chest, because he would tax the air you breathe. So every time you took a breath, the device would measure that. And there would be extra taxes for sneezing and so on. So yeah, that's the only thing that he would tax as the ultimate tyrant, the air that you breathe. And I remember that, it was so telling. And I read that when I was a kid, and it's crazy to think about that. Now we are almost there, taxing the air that we breathe, you know. So yeah. So yes. Okay. Long live stream, but thank you for coming here and joining. Wonderful. I'll be back soon. Until then, have a wonderful evening or morning, rest of the day, whatever it is. Okay. Bye-bye.